Hello everyone, and welcome back to DMG. This is a Radeon HD 5870, but not just any 5870. This card isn't exactly a beast nowadays, but at its release in late September of 2009, it was ATI's second highest end offering. It beat 2008 GTX 280 soundly, and traded blows with the later mid-range GTX 470 from 2010. It's also the first ATI card to support DirectX 11, with its predecessor, the 4000 series, being limited to DX 10.1. This means that the 5000 series cards are able to at least launch most modern games and have actually held up decently over the almost decade and a half, at this point, years of their life. They're based on the 40nm Cypress architecture. This card has 1600 shading units, 80 texture mapping units, and 32 ROPs, as well as 1024 megabytes of GDDR5 VRAM at 1200 megahertz, and the card's core is clocked at 850. It costs $400 USD at launch and draws power from two 6-pin connectors, consuming up to 188 watts. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the fact that it's an engineering sample. I got it for about $40 on eBay, so I do feel like got a bit lucky there. These cards aren't super rare. They pop up on auction sites, I don't know, like twice or so every year for about $150. So they aren't super rare, but I feel very lucky to have gotten it for $40. Now, taking a closer look at this label, it's very interesting. So, let's see, we've got the part number, ASIC type, Cypress. And down here it says ENG mod 12345678910. The date on it, strangely, is 11/25/08, which is after the card's release. So, I don't know if this is belonging to a board partner who released a card later than launch date. I don't know if this is for like a later revision of the card, or maybe I just got scammed. I haven't plugged it in and tested it yet, so this will be really my first look at how it performs. Engineering sample models, I'm just going to cover this really quickly just in case you don't know what it is. It's basically the pre-production testing model. So there are many phases of engineering samples. There's one that's like the super early concept board, and then, you know, there are later revisions that look like production model cards, but have this not for qualification sticker and might have some things different, like super high ASIC quality or extra sensors on things that you normally wouldn't have sensors on. Okay, so let's plug it in. I'm doing things to the card that it does not want to have done to it. Alright, there we go, all plugged in, and I'm going to find something to prop it up because it looks like it's about to fall. Okay, so I'm into Windows. I've installed the AMD Catalyst drivers. I'm going to open up GPU-Z and Hardware Info to just see what they think of this card. Very excited. Okay, yeah, sure. See if there's anything like immediately different from a production card, you know? Oh, okay, here we go. Okay. So hardware info is having trouble loading. I don't know why. Could be an issue with the card. Okay, yeah. HD 5800, Cypress, 40 nanometer. Here's the BIOS version. It's 012.014.000.005.035264. Subvendor is AMD/ATI, so that probably means that this did not belong to like Asus or MSI. Let's see, sensor. Oh, that's a lot of sensors. Okay, so that's definitely not normal. We have temperature sensors for 4 phases of the VRM, and then VDDCI phase 1 temperature, and then the current in amperature, the current in amperage of the VRMs. Okay, so that's definitely not a normal thing. That's very interesting. I'm gonna see if hardware info has anything else to say about it. I'll go sensors, sure. ASIC quality is 71.4, so it won't be a horrible overclocker, but it won't be fantastic. Yeah, looks like nothing out of the ordinary in hardware info. However, let's see if it still shows those extra sensors. Yeah, it does. So it shows all of these sensors for the... Okay, yeah, that's pretty glad I discovered that. We'll start with Furmark. Might as well. I don't want to melt this card, but, you know. Okay, GPU stress test. Here we go. Wait, I just saw a... Okay. That's concerning. Our GPU memory errors immediately jumped to 7,719,079,141. I'm not exaggerating, that is literally the figure that it shows. I have a feeling that's a driver side error, as these aren't optimized very well for Windows 10, because if it had 7 billion memory errors, there would have been an issue by now. It seems to be running fine, it seems to be stable. And it seems to be performing as one of these cards, you know, should perform. So that is fantastic. Let's run an OpenGL test. I'll check if the GPU memory errors goes up by any more when I run the OpenGL test. I can close Furmark now. Okay, seem to be a couple stutters, but overall running pretty well. Also, a thing to note, this card is extremely quiet, especially for the reputation that these older ATI blowers had. Okay, yeah, we are seeing a couple stutters, but, you know, to be expected with a, like, over 10-year-old card. Oh, and our GPU memory errors have jumped to 15 billion. Also, still not normal. Okay, that's sad. We beat the GeForce GT 620, but we didn't beat the 650M. That's kind of sad. I'm gonna open Afterburner really quickly and just see what it says. Oh yeah, I have the like AMD safe overclocking limit extended, so yeah, okay. Afterburner doesn't say anything weird about the card. Yeah, it just... It seems to run exactly like a production card, but just with the extra sensors. That's very strange. Okay, I think next I'm gonna try some, GPU-intensive benchmarks and game tests. Okay, before I get into the game tests, I just want to go over some quick changes that I made. So I bent this part of the case out so I could fully fit it in, and I added the screw here so that it will fit without needing a hard drive to prop it up. Alright, everyone. We're getting into the game tests now. It's about a week later. I'm very sorry, RivaTuner, OBS, basically anything that can be used to capture footage. The encoder on this GPU is just too old, and it captures at about 1 frame per second, which doesn't quite accurately reflect the performance of this card. So, I'm going to be recording like this. And just a heads up, the fan isn't normally this loud. I just have it turned up because I have it turned up to 50% speed, and I'm just going to be keeping it at that to keep temps down because I like this card and I don't want it to die. So our first game is Crossout. It's loading, hopefully. So first I'll be seeing what every game, what the settings default to. And then I'll try turning it up or down a little bit according to what I think should be done. I'm going to open up Xbox Game Bar so that I can use that to measure the FPS. And as usual with these older AMD GPUs, GPU and VRAM usage don't show. So in the ungodly amount of time that it's taking to load, I'm going to go ahead and say the CPU, oh, here we go. I'm going to blank out my email address, but the CPU is actually going to hold us back a bit because, I planned on benchmarking some lower end GPUs that wouldn't need the settings turned up enough. But, just Core 2 Quad Q9550 might hold us back a bit. So that's just going to put that out there. I know this game isn't super popular, but I like it. It's pretty fun, and most importantly, it runs pretty well on low-end hardware. It's not too demanding on video memory. It's not too demanding for CPU at all. It's really light on RAM requirements as well. Okay, here we go. My hard drive is actually having trouble. Alright. We're getting a bit of lag. I'm actually going to use the in-game FPS monitor because that seems to be more accurate. Oh no. Alright, I'm going to turn my lights on so that it's got that to calculate. Alright, we're getting some big dips, but in the 40s, 50s range, and the big dips are starting to become less big. So this will probably smooth out after a minute or two of gameplay. Here, I'm gonna hit this guy and fight him really quickly. Okay, so with a lot of particle effects, fire, shots, that sort of thing. Oh hey, I'm gonna run into some exploding barrels and see how it handles that. Okay, we didn't see two big drops when that happened. 1 second, I'm gonna turn off the air conditioning and join a battle. So far, checking on the memory errors issue, we have 170... Is that 170 billion memory errors reported? So that's a good bit. Okay, so in a more complex map with a lot of people driving around, we're getting, you know, not the best FPS, between 20 and 40, mainly in the mid-30s range. But, you know, the settings that it defaulted to are pretty good looking, and also, I mean, it's not going to look good with the just filming it through the camera, but it looks quite good in person. And this game, pretty much everything over 30 FPS is playable. I think what holds this card back the most is the 1 GB of VRAM, which is probably full, and it's having to back up into the DDR2 system memory, which is really causing the big dips that we're seeing. But yeah, I just want to say again, this is a totally DirectX 11 supported card. It doesn't have DX12 support, but games that only have What the hell is that guy doing? Wait a minute. Why is he flying? Okay, sorry. But yeah, this card is totally DirectX 11 supported. It doesn't have DirectX 12 support, but you probably wouldn't be able to run DX12 games on this anyway. Okay, that was actually surprisingly good. I didn't expect the card to do that well. So I'm going to check out the settings that it defaulted to. Video. Defaulted to 100 render scale, 4x anti-aliasing, and then fair and high, except for this, whatever that is, but fair and high for most settings. What does the fair preset get us? Okay, 2x MSAA, so it defaulted to slightly above the fair preset, but on the fair preset we get pretty much constant 60 FPS. So, whoop, I meant to do that. But, you know, we don't get reflections on water, that sort of thing. So, yeah, I think this card is pretty good for this game. Let's try another one. I think we'll do CSGO next. And our memory errors, yes, have gone up by 8 billion, I believe that is. This GPU with the memory errors, it reminds me of the "this is fine" meme. Like, this is literally an embodiment of the "this is fine" meme. Oh, there they go. Wait. Yeah, it just went up by like 15,000. Some number. 1,500 billion? No, 15 billion. That's what I'm looking for. But yeah, I believe that is just a false reading in hardware info. Our GPU, obviously, because I've cranked the fans, is very, very cool running. Okay. No, dust 2. I don't... Wait, no. Is there a way to... Official practice with bots. I'll do Inferno. How about that? I'm not very good at CSGO. So, truly, the worst performance in this game will be from me and not the graphics card. Alright, we're getting 46 to 50 on what it defaulted to, which, for CSGO, that is not ideal. You want a super high frame rate. Oh, I meant to do that. Here, I'll play as this guy. Yeah, get out of here. Okay, I meant to do that. So yeah, we're seeing below 60 FPS on whatever it defaulted to, which is not ideal. Oh great, it's a 3v1 as well, so that's gonna go well for us. So we actually have a chance of winning this. See, this is the reason I'm not a gaming channel anymore. I'm not good at games. Ah, no, wait, no, you're on my team. I meant to do that. But yeah, we're seeing pretty good FPS. I don't know if you can see it, but the CPU usage meter has stayed in the 60s and 70s. Sometimes into the low 80s. So that's good. CPU isn't holding us back very much in this game. Let's see if we can turn it down and get a couple more. Okay, so it... Oh, cool. So it defaulted to high. Global shadow quality, we'll turn that down to medium. Medium. Yeah, leave that off. Medium. Just gonna turn some things down a bit. Oh no. We've got the spinning wheel of death here. Okay, so apparently CSGO works great, but when you try to change the settings, it stops working. Sure, I'll wait for the program to respond. Okay, let's try Bro Falls. Why not? And our GPU memory errors are now at 251,727,647,270. Oh wow, that's a lot of FPS. Average FPS 599. Best GPU I've ever used. Okay, does this not actually report the FPS though? Come on, there we go. Okay, yeah, I'll put VSync off, but target FPS 60. Motion blur off because it's nauseating in this game. Sure, quality medium, which is what I play this game on my RX 570 system, or RX 560, sorry. And this GPU is about equivalent to an RX 560. You know, theoretically. Oh, has it already frozen? That could be not ideal. Xbox Game Bar has issues with this game, and I don't know why. Oh. Yeah, we're not getting an FPS monitor, but just from looks, it looks like 30 to 40 range. Again, what's really holding this card back in modern titles is the 1 GB of VRAM. The card's decently clocked, the memory's decently clocked. There's just not very much of it. Oh hey, I'm actually gonna win. And a new record because I don't play this game on this PC. But yeah, it's a playable experience. It's not the most enjoyable, but it's definitely better than on my Vega 8 laptop. Like this is, if I set it to the minimum quality, it's a lower FPS than this. So I mean, if that justifies anything, this GPU gets the Better Than Integrated Graphics award. Alright, next up in our suite of game tests is Forza Street, which, honestly, you can max out on your toaster. However, it's I'm going to screw in this DVI cable really quickly. It's a good measure of, this card should be able to run this at a constant 60. There we go. It's interesting. This game looks really good. Like, you know, reflections, lights, all that. However, it performs very, like, surprisingly well on low-end cards. Here, I'll just... Why? Okay, this is one of the things I don't like about this game. Here, yeah, I'll try one that's feasible to win. How about that? I'll keep an eye on the FPS. Alright, we're having some lag. Our CPU just hit 100. Alright, we're getting decent frame rate. And this game is maxed, by the way. It has like 4 presets. It's like good, bad, and ultra. Okay, I didn't win. However, this card, it actually didn't perform as well as I was thinking, but it's still definitely a playable experience. Alright, next up, Minecraft, which it should definitely be able to handle, because it is a more CPU-heavy title than GPU-heavy. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we're getting 60 FPS. CPU load is pretty high. We've got a hole in a mountain. There we go, okay. I'm gonna check what render distance we are on. Video. Let's put it to 24 chunks. 4 anti-aliasing seems fine, yeah. Okay, we're getting a decent frame rate. Minecraft, this is Bedrock Edition, keep in mind. That's not supposed to happen. That's definitely not supposed to happen. But yeah, we're getting a decent frame rate when generating new chunks. So, I mean, I think it's fine. I think the missing parts of things... It could be a world corruption thing, but I think that could be attributed to video memory and the 1 GB of VRAM that we have to work with, which, as I've said previously, not too much. Okay, so yes, it can run Minecraft, which, to be honest, so can your toaster as well. Bonk. Well, after the game tests and benchmarks, I can definitely say that the 5870 has held up pretty well. That does not mean that I would recommend buying one of these, however. The 2 6-pin power requirement doesn't make it a very good candidate for a budget rig, because you would probably have to spend more on a power supply that could drive it than just a slightly newer graphics card like an RX 550. Plus, that would have newer driver support. The last drivers for this card are from 2016, so it's probably not a good idea to buy for modern gaming. However, that doesn't make having an engineering sample any less interesting. Now, if you would like to see a disassembly video, more game tests, like more benchmarks, any of that, I would be happy. And I did want to keep this video relatively concise, but I could make another if needed. And I would definitely like to know more about this card. So, yes, there will probably be a second video on this card. I've reached out to like old professional overclockers on forums who were doing that when this card came out that could tell me more about the board revision, that kind of thing, which would require disassembly. So if they ask for that, I will disassemble the card on camera. But yeah, that's it for this video. There probably will be a second one within a week or so. Yeah, hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.